War 3 Season 1 is starting to conclude. I think we have less than 24 hours to complete our Season 1 Battle Passes. So if you haven't done that, you might want to get on that. You know, it takes a while. I mean, it didn't take me super long, but I took a bunch of breaks in between. As a disclaimer, I've been sick for a few days, so if I sound a little weird, that is why. But in this video, I want to talk about Season 1. I kind of want to wrap up the season and talk about some of the things that Farm did really well and some of the things that Farm did not do very well. You know, the initial content drop was really good, but there are some things that we didn't see throughout the season that I think would make the game a lot better that we need to see in Season 2. We also had an event that I want to talk about that I did not talk about at the time the event was on. So let's hop right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is what's on your screen right now. If you take a look, everyone's ping is in the red, right? If you take a look at that screenshot, everyone's ping is completely dog water. And this is a serious problem in the game. You see, in World War III, there's, you got great gunplay, you've got some pretty smooth feeling movement that's really weighty and feels really good. You have decent animation quality. You have very well detailed environments. The game is not the most graphically impressive game, but the environment has a lot of detail. You know, the streets looking like they're actually been used, unlike in 2042, everything looks like plastic. You know, inside of all the buildings, it definitely looks like people. Everything looks super lived in. Everything looks very detailed. Now, this is all great, but when you're playing the game on a 1 bar ping, it makes the game feel bad. The game isn't actually poorly optimized. The game is actually optimized very well, and you know that because when you play on an EU server, in my case, I'm on the East Coast of the US, so if I play on an EU server or a US East server, which are very rare for some odd reason, if I play on one of those servers, the game absolutely feels buttery smooth like the entire time. But if I end up on a UAE server, I end up on a Singapore server where I don't really belong, the game starts to feel a lot more rough around the edges. You know, the game, you get a lot more frame drops. You get, the game feels as if it's not as well optimized. In a game where there's so much going on, it's 20v20, you got 40 players, you got vehicles, you got strikes, so you got airstrikes and tanks being called in out of the sky, you got helicopter drones, you got people using C4 grenades, people dropping health packs on the map that need to show up for all of the players at the same time. You got buggies, you got ATVs, you got people dropping ammo and equipment. You got so much stuff going on in the game, and having just having an absolutely terrible connection really hinders the gameplay experience. And I've heard this from a lot of newer players. The game feels desyncy. The game isn't very well optimized. I got a lot of frame drops, and that is almost always due to being on a Singapore server. And the worst part about it is that every time you're on one of these servers, you are not the only person experiencing all these problems. There's always, is it just me, or there's always one guy with 3 bars and green ping that's probably actually from Singapore, and then the other 39 players are in the server on red bars, just completely having their gameplay experience hindered. So it's really confusing. That wouldn't make more sense. Now, I don't know anything about this. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, okay? But wouldn't it make more sense for that one dude from Singapore to be playing on an EU server where everyone is green and that one guy is red because there's not enough people in his region to for him to get on one of his servers? But for some reason, there's going to be one guy from Singapore, and then there's 39 people from the US and Europe that are all having a terrible experience, which is super interesting. I'm not entirely sure. They did a server maintenance sort of recently that actually added more Singapore servers, which either put me into more Singapore servers or put more Singapore servers up for the players from Singapore. I'm not entirely sure what the thinking behind that solution was, but we get constant server maintenances, and sometimes it feels like things are better, and sometimes it feels like they did absolutely nothing. So my first main issue is that the game still feels not completely stable. And it's crazy. It doesn't always, and sometimes it does. Sometimes it does when you're on the correct server, when you got a good ping. But it really is repellent for new players. When you get on the game for the first time, you get thrown on a UAE or a Singapore server, and the game feels extremely unstable. The game feels extremely desyncy. We want to keep new players in. We have a really small, very good community that really does enjoy the game, and I would love for the game to get out there and be able to retain more players. I understand it's difficult to compete with juggernauts like Call of Duty, and Battlefield has been definitely stepping their game up. Even I went back to 2042 for a week or 2 weeks with a lot of my friends, and I actually had a pretty decent time during season 3, and now season 4 is coming out. We got a lot of competition in the first-person shooter space, but I still think that this game has an atmosphere, and it has an art style and a vibe that a lot of those other games in the same genre as it does not capture. It just needs to be completely stable for new players to want to continue to play it. We got great progression, we've got great gunplay, we've got honestly some of the best map design in the industry. I've praised the level designers before in my initial review of season 1. DMZ, the new map, I praise them. They do amazing maps. All the maps and the objectives are super fun to play on. They all make perfect sense. They're all super balanced for both sides. And the level design in this game is second to none. There are things that this game does extremely, extremely well, but new players are just not going to tolerate just not an unstable experience. They're just not going to do it. And even here, you can see I'm on one bar. So sometimes you just gotta get that stability down. Something has to happen. I'm not, the servers have just always not been the greatest on this game, and it's honestly the biggest hindrance. So the second thing I want to talk about was the event. We had the domination event, which was the TDM maps with domination objectives, which I was pretty excited for. If you guys watch my videos a lot, I actually said that a lot of those maps would work a lot better with objectives on them, right? So I believe that to be true, and I still believe that to be true, but the problem is they locked the spawns on the map. So the game mode just completely devolved into whoever gets to the middle objective first, captures it, is going to spawn trap the dog shit out of whoever does not do that, which is just not a fun experience at all. They also locked a weapon behind this game mode. I think it was 30-something wins or 30 wins in domination to get a hold of the Desert Eagle early, which I'm sure the Desert Eagle will probably be in the next Battle Pass, or there will be another challenge to complete that isn't as depressing to get the Desert Eagle at a later date. But it was the worst fucking event ever. The game mode was terrible. It was not fun at all. I played maybe 4 or 5, 6 matches of it and never touched it again. I went right back to tactical ops. So I think that was a complete failure. Some people suffered through it and got the Desert Eagle. I myself did not have the patience. If you did, I absolutely commend you. Okay, you are a warrior. You are 100% top 1% dedicated, but more dedicated to World War III than I am, which is pretty crazy. Okay, I've been here like since the first closed beta, right? I've been here suffering through all the issues that the game has, but that one was not one that I was willing to take any battle wounds for. Okay, that one was not something that I wanted to participate in. But for the most part, Season 1, I believe, was a success. We brought in a lot of players early. We've retained some of them. The game sits around 1,000, maybe a little over 1,000 players a day. It might be a little lower than that, because we haven't had a content drop in so long. But for the most part, the developers did a great job. We got a great map. We got the K2C1, which is a great weapon. We got the QBZ, which is another great assault rifle. We got some good weapons. We got a great map. We got some more players in. We got a ton of awesome Chinese-themed cosmetics. And we even got a web page. So a lot of people don't know about this. I'm actually interested to show you guys this. If you go on World War III's website, There's actually detailed descriptions of all of the new strikes and the new weapons from the season one update that they added in. I'll throw some of that on the screen now.
K2 소총은 30년 넘게 우리 군의 대표적인 보병 화기로 자리 잡았습니다. 유비무환이란 말이 있듯이 전투 중에 발생할 수 있는 어떤 상황에서도 대응할 수 있도록 많은 부분을 개선하였으며 그 결과 정확한 명중률과 튼튼한 내구성을 갖춘 K2 소총은 어떤 상황에서도 임무를 수행할 수 있는 대한민국이 자랑하는 최고의 소총입니다.
Now, the ZTZ Type 99 main combat tank might look like it's made of cardboard with a camo paint job from your grandma's flip phone screensaver, but let me tell you, these things don't look that funny when you're facing one from half a click in a freezing foxhole. I've seen these tanks in a column 20 strong just wading through artillery fire like they were out for a Sunday drive. I respect them. The commies knew what they were doing when they designed those damn things.
With all that being said, this pretty much concludes my video. I kind of just wanted to go over some of the things that happened in season one, some of the things that were good, some of the things that were bad, and just talk about it. Because now we're waiting on information on season two. Your battle pass at the time I'm recording this video is winding down or is over at this point. So, that is pretty much our first season of content. And I know we're supposed to be getting a new game mode coming with the next season, which is essentially going to be Infantry Conquest, which I think a lot of people will actually enjoy. People aren't too fond of vehicles as an infantry player in this game. I think more people need to play anti-tank and anti-vehicle setups. But that's for a topic for a whole another video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.
Some